Notts County talk. Player ratings after Notts have lost 2-0 in what's probably the biggest game of the season away to high-flying Hartlepool, who are now unbeaten in 14, and it looks very difficult for Notts to catch them as they are now the league leaders. It's a really hard one to analyse because Notts didn't actually play that badly. We tried to weather the storm at the start of the game. They obviously came out the blocks flying, massively high in confidence at their own ground, which we know is a hard place to go from last season where we were mauled there. Two terrible goalkeeping errors, lost us that one. But I think really the main thing there is Cal Roberts. Really, really good to see him go off. He's our best player by a country mile, and you know, what must that do to him for confidence? What must that do to the team? Just when we thought we were getting him back, I mean, within a minute he'd worked himself some room and had a shot blocked that's gone out for a corner. So really, really hoping that he is okay. And whether we'll see him again this season, I don't know. But it's all about him coming back stronger now, and we've got to get behind him as a fan base because we know how much of a professional he is. So going on then, we'll go Slocum. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I don't think he could have done much, but he's conceded 2 goals. He's made a decent stop midway through the second half, but he's conceded 2 again. He's constantly conceding goals at the minute, so 5.5 for him, but as I said, not too much. He could do a few loose passes. Enzio, we'll go to him. Wasted where he is on the pitch. Absolutely wasted, and the rating reflects that. I'm going to give him a 6. I mean, he tried. He really did try. But what's he supposed to do in that position? I mean, he's literally being played out of position week in, week out. And yeah, we say he's done very well. We did do very well against Woking and against Wrexham. But he could be so much more effective going forward, couldn't he? And even when the formation change happened in this game, he was still penned back. He was still pegged back at that right back position or wing back position, whatever. And he just can't. He can't do what he's best at, can he? Can't do what he's best at. So 6 for Enzio. We'll go to the back 3. We'll go Rawlinson. They're probably at fault for the first goal. Got sucked in so easily, and I'm gonna say 5.5 for him. I thought he was pretty poor today. Some loose passes, not commanding enough, not really there, and he's gonna get a 5.5. As is Ellis, 5.5 for me. Okay in the air, but again, some loose passes at the back, and they just didn't look assured playing out from the back. This is National League. Can we play out from the back constantly week in, week out, especially against these bigger teams? And once they're pressed, they just can't handle it. And for 2 players that have been so good for us in the past, you know, that's 4 goals conceded in 2 games. It's just, yeah, I can't give more than the 5.5. Chickson, maybe they're compensating for Adam Chickson playing there, but I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he was okay. He didn't do anything wrong, didn't do anything fantastic. There were a few ball recoveries in the box in the first half, which I thought were particularly impressive, and a few back heels to get us out of sticky situations. He gets a 6 for me because he's got that extra level because he is playing out of position, and he's come back into the side, and we didn't see much of him today. He had to switch out to the left back position, but he's been okay. He's got that little bit of pace at the back, so he's not often beaten, but he's only just scraped a 6 for me. Go to Barnett. I think a lot of people disagree with this. I'm going to go 6.5 for Barnett. I think he showed willingness to get forward. He really did. He was attacking wise. He was then placed in central midfield. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I'm 95% sure he was placed in central midfield. You start at wing back. You're drafted in centre midfield. It's just not. It's not. You're not expecting that, and I think that the game plan wasn't quite there for Notts. So he's been placed in that position. When he was out wide, he did get forward, put a few dangerous balls in. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's got a bit of tenacity and a bite in the tackle. So for me, he gets a 6.5, and I think that's the highest rating I've given so far because he was trying to make things happen down that side. So Barnett didn't really put a foot wrong. Also wasn't amazing, but he gets a 6.5. We now go to the midfield. Jake Reeves, he was okay today. 6 for me. Tried to make things happen. Almost bent one in the keeper's bottom right hand corner. It was very close. It would have changed the game as it was quite early on in the second half. But again, he should be doing more. He is a player. I don't care what people say. He is a player that has a lot of goal contributions and is probably a League 2 player. He's proved it before. He can play in League 2. He needs to be grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck. And he's better than any of Hartlepool's central midfielders on paper. He is. We've seen what he can do this season, but I don't know who it's paired with, but we're not seeing the best of him still. We haven't seen the best of him for weeks. He's going to get a 6. We then go to Jim O'Brien. Massive praise throughout the past 4 or 5 games, but today for me, quite poor. 5.5. Not quite at Reeves level. A few slips as well. Was really done a few times in the middle with a simple shimmy, a simple body feint, and it sort of set up attacks for them. I don't think he was quite at it. He struggled. I think him and Reeves weren't helped by the fact that at one point we definitely had 2 central midfielders, and that was it. Players didn't know what formation they were playing at one point. So for me, he just gets that slightly lower rating than Jake Reeves. Griffiths, feel for him, really feel for him. Pulled off at 36 minutes. I don't think he was doing amazingly, but at the same time, he'd just done his most positive bit of play, an overlap and run. I think it was with Enzio or maybe Knowles, but he'd done his most positive bit of play, and he was absolutely bewildered when he came off. What's that going to do for his confidence? I don't know. I think Doyle was sat with him second half as a bit of an arm, around him to just say, look, it's for the good of the team. But another substitution that I think did backfire, and I'm going to give Griffiths a 5.5. Kyle Wootton, where's the goals gone? Where's the assists? Where's his link-up play? Being marked out of games too easily. He's got to do more. 5.5. When your top scorer was probably the choice of the players up front to come off, you're in a bit of bother. Not really done it since King's Lynn, and then he really just took 2 chances, didn't he? So for me, Kyle Wootton, not really at the races at the minute. Jimmy Knowles, I thought he would have come in bags of confidence, absolute bags of confidence, but he comes in and he just gets a 5.5 for me. He didn't really do too much. Obviously, if a player scored a hat-trick, they're going to do their homework and stop him doing what they did, and they did drop back a little bit and didn't allow his pace. We saw a couple of times where he was nearly in. Pressing was good, but a 5.5 is all he can get. Subs, now Carl Roberts, it's not fair to rate him. I'm not going to give him a rating, as I've already gone over him at the start of the video, so I'll skip over that one. Dion Kelly-Evans, 6, just came on and did what was told of him. And Knight, for a substitute, got probably the longest of any substitute this season. Finally saw his pace, lightning quick, but it's going to be a 6.5 from me. I thought he showed bright signs. The only thing letting him down is his final ball, and I think that'll come with more game time, more linking up with the players. But that bit of burst of pace we saw, that's something we haven't got in the team, even from Carl Roberts, who's not that fast compared to Knight. We need to see more of him, and we need to see him start games. I thought he probably should have started today. He would have been useful on the break, definitely to start the game. But that sums up my ratings. No one gets more than the 6.5. Probably playoffs now. Is a realistic target, 2nd or 3rd is a must. I'd love to know, as always, what you would rate some of the players. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.